My first astrology book was gifted to me by an Aries, which is ironic because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And the book was called Black Love Signs by Thelma Balfour. This one was really special to me because at the time, someone had noticed my infatuation with astrology and went as far as to find this book and gift it to me. And there's things about that book that I'll never forget because it was my first. And it was given to me by an Aries who at that time was also my first ever lesbian relationship. So I think that's pretty cool. Black love signs. The moon is in Aries right now. It's mid-July. And I'm not even sure what it looks like outside. And this room has no windows. None that open to the outside. One of the things that stands out about Thelma Balfour's Black Love Signs is how much detail she provides, starting with the erogenous zones. An erogenous zone is a place that if you touch it or tease it or kiss it or play with it, it might turn you on. Aries is their head, and Taurus is their neck and throat. Gemini actually just really wants mental stimulation. So it's not really one particular place that you could touch them that would turn them on, as much as just stimulating them mentally really gets their gears going. Cancer is their breast, their chest, their nipples. And it's not crazy to meet a Cancer who has very sensitive nipples or is very sensitive about their breast. I once dated a Cancer, and I remember she had got her nipples pierced and she was in so much pain for days, waiting for it to heal. And then finally she just decided to take them out. And the moment she took out the piercing, she blacked out on the floor. Leo is spine and back. Virgo is stomach or lower chest. Libra is the small of their back or their butt, and also in Thelma's book, she writes that sometimes the easiest way to know a Libra is to look at their butt. If they've got a nice, big, voluptuous, perfectly shaped ass, that could be a sign that they are a Libra. And also for Aries too, because Aries rules the head. If you're ever unsure if you're looking at an Aries, but you've got most of your details, do they have an abnormally large head? If so, they could be an Aries. Scorpio, of course, is the sign of sex, sexual energy, and therefore what turns them on would be genitalia. You know, just touching in that area, in the groin. For Scorpio, that's enough to get their gears churning. Hips and thighs for Sag. But also in this book was the first time I read that Sagittarius may be prone to bisexuality. And ever since then, anytime I meet a Sagittarius, there's always that sprinkle of bi. There is. I think one of the most weirdest erogenous zones that Thelma mentions is Capricorns, which is armpits or under the arms, which I don't know if any Capricorns actually have any armpit fetishes, whether on themselves or other people, or if they've even ever really looked into that or really dug into that per se. I mean, it's a catch-22 really, because armpits could be hairy, they could be bald. From there, you kind of have to decide where you want to go with it, based on whatever your kink is. Aquarius is often mistaken for a water sign because it's the water barrier. It's a person carrying a pail of water. They're an air sign. And their erogenous zones would be calves and legs. Again, don't know many Aquariuses who have the time of day to entertain that theory of calves and legs, but would be very curious. Last but not least, the 12th sign of the zodiac is Pisces, and in that fashion, their erogenous zone would be their feet at the very bottom of the human anatomy there. I truly believe Pisces and feet coincide. My mother is a Pisces, and she would make me rub her feet, squeeze her feet. I mean, really squeeze her feet, to the point where I'm straining and I'm like, "Are you sure you're okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, squeeze harder." I think it's important to note that just because you're an Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Cap, Aqua, Pisces, and that's your sun sign placement, doesn't mean that these erogenous zones necessarily apply to you. A lot of times when I'm studying astrology, studying charts, besides looking at sun, moon, and rising, we also look at Venus and Mars. Venus is known as the embrace, Mars is known as the thrust. And so when you're looking at compatibility, yes, sun, moon, and rising is important, but so is Venus and Mars, and even Mercury, because that's how you communicate. And though usually your Mercury is in the same sign as your sun, there is these one-off chances that your Mercury actually ends up being the sign after yours or the sign before your sun sign. When I'm looking at Venus and Mars, especially if your Venus or Mars is in the first house, or maybe you have a sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus all in the same sign for some crazy reason, it happens. And I say it's crazy because the moon changes every 2 to 3 days. So for you to be born with a moon sign that matches your sun, Mercury, and Venus is wild. Your erogenous zones may be better suited to your moon or your rising or your Venus. Perhaps you're a sun in Pisces, but a Venus in Aquarius, and you've never had a foot fetish, but you've broken your leg a few times. Not ironic, but food for thought. Black Love Signs by Thelma Balfour was really the beginning for me, and she doesn't just talk erogenous zones, she talks about positive and negative traits for your sun sign, the ruling planet of your sun sign. She even gives a word to the wise. She breaks down the man version and the woman version. She gives a guide to love connection or compatibility, how well those two signs actually would do together. She has like 3 paragraphs per chapter. Each chapter is a zodiac sign that just deal with sex, sex and more sex, and nothing more. And then she talks money matters, pampering tips, and gift ideas per sign. So it's like all of this packed into one. As a beginner, I think it was great. I am a Venus, Leo, Mars, and Gemini. And if Mars is the thrust, I can definitely say that mental stimulation is a turn on for me. And usually, like, I have to be stimulated mentally before I can actually, like, look at you in that way. I guess for any other statement to be true. We just tapped into erogenous zones inspired by Black love signs, a book by Thelma Balfour.